Hi, this is Brett Ingram, entrepreneur and award-winning product creator, and today I want to share with you 12 morning habits that'll make you a powerhouse. So, have you ever had a day where you just woke up feeling like a rock star? You're not really sure why. You don't know what it is about the night before or the morning or your mindset or whatever, but for whatever reason, you just woke up feeling so great. Well, maybe not even sure why that is, but wouldn't it be great to be able to bottle that so you could wake up and feel that way every single day? I mean, when we start the day off right, it sets the tone, right? On those days where we wake up feeling that way, most of the time, we're going to end up being a lot more productive. We're going to be a lot happier. Every single thing is going to seem easier to us. We're going to have more fun. We're going to feel better. We're going to feel like we accomplish more. And obstacles are going to seem littler to us. And we're going to be able to knock those down with a lot less stress and effort because we already have a really powerful mindset. So the thing is, it really makes a difference when we start the day off right with the right tone. If we contrast that, if we've ever had a day where sort of woke up and felt a little crummy, maybe not physically feeling too good, maybe something's on our mind, we're stressed, we have anxiety, we're just not feeling too good about things, and then some other bad stuff happens, or we see some negative news story or whatever, and the next thing you know, we're not feeling that great, we're not really that motivated, and we're sort of like, I wish I could just go back and sit on the couch and watch some TV this morning instead of actually going to work or doing my job or running my business. And so it makes a big difference the way that we start off. And with a simple morning routine, right, we can make this a habit. So instead of having it just be happenstance or luck based on how we wake up in the morning, wouldn't it be awesome to be able to proactively and deliberately create a situation where we woke up every day feeling great, or at least within a few minutes of getting up, we could start to really feel awesome and go into every single day feeling like an absolute powerhouse, like we can handle anything and we can crush everything that's in front of us. Well, I can tell you from personal experience that I used to be at the total mercy of my own mood and my environment. So when I woke up, it was a total, jack in the box type situation. I'm going to spin that little thing, and I don't know whether the Joker's coming out or the monkey with the symbols or whatever, because I am going to, feel however I feel. And even if I physically, felt good or whatever, sometimes I was just in a crummy mood. Sometimes I felt good, sometimes I didn't. And it absolutely had an effect on my day. It absolutely changed the way that I started things, changed the way I interacted with people, changed the way I view any sort of challenges that come in my way. And I can tell you from personal experience also, I'm far more productive, far more effective, and probably far more likable when I'm in a good mood, in a positive place. And so since practicing these, I have to say that I much more consistently feel a lot better far more often. So it's not a silver bullet and nothing is perfect, but the fact is, by using a set group of habits that we incorporate into what we're doing all the time, when we start to do that, we develop very, very positive mindset, and it really helps us hit the day running and accomplish a lot more and feel great about it all the way through. So the habits I'm going to share are habits that they're not things that I made up. They're actually habits that many high achievers, whether it's Bill Gates or Oprah Winfrey or, in any walk of life, right, have used some or all of these. And so what I did is I sort of put together a list of things that either I've done myself or things that I've seen other people or heard other people talk about doing. And they're things that, again, we need to tailor it to ourselves. And we don't necessarily need to do them all or do them all every single day, because depending on our schedule and our time and other things like that, it may be a challenge. But the more we do and the more consistent that we're doing them, the better that we're going to feel and the better that we're going to perform every single day. And so That's really the key to it. Like any habit, the hardest thing to do is start. Even if we're excited about the idea of starting a new habit, the fact is what ends up happening, and it's funny because this is true of New Year's resolutions also, is a lot of people will start and after a few days they give up. Something gets in the way, there's a challenge, something derails them, and they don't have the discipline to get back on it and keep going. So if we have a day where, for whatever reason, we're just overwhelmed that we can't do any of these, or, we get off track, that's okay. The important thing is to get back on track and to continue doing them. Because what ends up happening is as we start to do them, much like riding a bike, the more we do it, the better we get at it. The easier it gets, the more tricks we can do, the more facility we have with it, and the more automatic it becomes. It may be a conscious, deliberate effort in the beginning, and so it takes more time, it takes more energy, it takes more focus. But I promise that after we're doing these for a period of time, it becomes more automatic. Most of us, if we drive a car, we don't actually think when we get behind the wheel what we need to do. Okay, now I need to turn the car on, and now I need to shift it into gear, and now I need to make sure that when I'm driving, I'm like in between the lines. It's all automatic for us. But when we're learning to drive, and I'm going through this because I have kids, and one of them is actually learning to drive right now, all of those things are conscious efforts. And so it can be exhausting. I remember being a new driver, and I remember being totally exhausted after short trips. The idea of taking the car and going on some long trip or being in the car for long periods of time driving was overwhelming because it was such an effort. I had to look at my speed. I had to look at the lines. I had to make sure that, I'm watching oncoming traffic and all these other things. But as you do it enough, you get to a point where it's all automatic. This is no different, right? So again, it will become easier and easier and more automatic, and we'll need to remember less and review notes or lists or whatever that less, the more that we do this. So these are in no particular order. It doesn't really matter specific order. What matters is that we try to do as many of these as we can. And I guess they're sort of in the order of the way the day works and starts, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. What's most important is that we do as many of these as we can, that we focus on it, and we develop them into habits so we naturally are in a better state all the time. And one other side note, while they're listed as sort of morning habits, because I think that really sets the tone for the day, in reality, these can be done, most of them, anytime during the day, and they'll still help, even if it isn't in the morning. But when we do it in the morning, we set up the tone for the whole day to be positive. So the first one is to wake up early. Real simple, right? For most of us, this isn't really a chore or even a decision. If we have kids, if we have anything else going on, we have to get up early. I don't have a choice. The latest I'm getting up any given weekday is 6:15 because I have a son I have to get off to school. My wife works, she has to get off to work, so I'm up. It doesn't really matter. If we're on a weekend though, or if we're on, another day, unless we decide the night before that we're going to be out late, we're going to sleep in, this is our treat, that's fine. Everybody needs to do that. At the same time, when it's work time and we know it's going to be a work day, it's super important to wake up early to get the day started. There's something just biologically different when we're up early and, we can think clearly and the world is still quiet. It makes it a lot easier to feel more productive. And when we get some stuff done and it's 8 o'clock and, we already have accomplished some things, we feel great and we're just starting out, right? Second thing is to exercise. Now, this is a pretty broad thing. And for some people, you might be thinking, well, there's no way I could do this in the morning. Totally understand. I'm in the car driving my son to school. I'm not able to exercise in the morning. I actually do it in the afternoon. That said, when I had the opportunity to do it in the mornings, I also found that to be very energizing for the whole day. So if possible, that, if not, later is fine. But if we're exercising, we're keeping our bodies healthy. That's super important. And exercise can be anything. It can be weightlifting, which is what I like, but it can also be aerobics, and it can be simple. It can even be, go for a walk around the block in the morning. This doesn't have to be hardcore, like super fitness exercise, just something to get up and get moving. That in and of itself, we do 20 burpees before we jump in the shower, is going to get us motivated. It gets our body moving, it gets our minds moving, and it sets the right tone for the day. Third thing is to eat healthy. And, this is funny because eating healthy, at least I've experienced this, when I start the day like this, I tend to work through that the entire day. If I start the day eating a donut, then I don't really care what I have for lunch either. So maybe, some fried food or whatever, and then I don't really care what I had for dinner either, because I kind of already ruined the day, right? If I start off the day and I eat a banana and a yogurt, it makes it more difficult to eat unhealthy for lunch because I'm sort of on a good track. Like, I don't want to ruin that now at lunch, so I'm going to get a sandwich instead. And so it sort of builds on itself. And that is a neat sort of way that we can trick ourselves or sort of incentivize ourselves to stay healthy, is by starting that way. And so, again, the eat healthy thing can always be thought of as, well, it isn't that a lot of work? I mean, I don't have time. I'm running out the door in the morning. I've got to do this. I don't have time either. But bananas are something really simple, or fruit, any kind of fruit. Yogurt, you can grab it in a cup, good to go. Granola, whatever, all those kinds of things. I mean, it's fantastic if you have the opportunity to make yourself an egg omelet and all these other things in the morning. The reality of it is most of us don't, but that's okay. The fact is, anything healthy that gets the day off to a good start, as opposed to something like, donuts or, something that's super unhealthy just to get food in our stomach, sets the tone for the day in a positive way. And it helps us eat more healthy the entire day through. Then if we decide at dinner, hey, we're going to eat something a little bit more indulgent here, we've earned it because we've had a good day. We've eaten well most of the day. And food is the fuel that we give our body. And our body is the thing that powers, our mind and our ability to get things done for the day. So just like if you're driving a car, you wouldn't want to pour sludge into the engine to start the day. You're going to have a hard time getting to where you're going. When you put, good high octane gas in there, it's going to run, or hopefully electric nowadays, it's going to run a lot more smoothly and cleanly, and you're going to get better performance. The engine parts aren't going to get gunked up. Your gas mileage is going to be better, and everything is going to be better. It's a perfect analogy for our human bodies because we operate in exactly the same way. So a fourth thing that's really powerful and really simple, and we can do this on the drive to the office or on the drive to bring our kids to school or back home or whatever, is to practice gratitude. Think about 5 things that we feel very grateful for. They can be simple, even if our lives on some level feel like they're falling apart. The fact is, there are little things we can be grateful for, whether it's the sun coming up today and having a bright, sunny day, or whether it's the fact that, your neighbor brought your paper up and dropped it on your step. Whatever it is, we can feel gratitude for things. And when we talk about gratitude, we talk about feeling it, not just thinking about, oh, well, I'm intellectually grateful for this and I'm intellectually grateful for that. We want to actually feel that gratitude because it has a transformative effect on the way that we feel and on our emotions for the whole day. It opens up the way that we see everything, and it puts us in a much more positive mind frame. So feeling gratitude toward 5 things, we can do that at our desk. We can do that anywhere in our own privacy. So that's really simple and can be done every single day without fail. A 5th thing to do is visualization or affirmations. So if there's something that we want to accomplish, if there's something we want to be able to do, or a task we want to complete, or an achievement we want to reach, or a goal that we want to accomplish, any of those kinds of things, by visualizing it. They use this analogy in sports a lot. A lot of the highest performing athletes, there isn't a lot that separates them. The physical abilities for, one NBA basketball player to the next are not usually that different. I mean, sure, maybe the top to the bottom guy, but for all the normal guys that are playing, that are in the starting 5 on every team, they all have a pretty amazing skill set. But what comes down sometimes is the mental difference, right? So whether it's the mental toughness or whether it's the fact that they visualize the ball going in the hoop over and over and over again, those little things can make a big difference. So visualization is something that's been used in sports for a long time. I know Olympic athletes have used this for a long time. And so that's really powerful. The other the sort of flip side of that same coin is affirmations. So it's not so much visualization, but it's repeating to yourself or saying to yourself over and over and over again what you want to be true as though it already is. And so by doing that over and over and over again, you could just look up a whole list of these online and pick the ones that are personal, that relate to you and that resonate to you. And that's the most powerful way to do that. And by doing that, by spending 5 minutes, 10 minutes, doing that, in the morning especially, but practice it throughout the day. Take 5 minutes at lunch, take 5 minutes at dinner. So you develop the habit of constantly reinforcing in your mind, how good you are, how effective you are, how successful you are. All of these other things, it helps create a much more positive and powerful mindset. Sixth thing that we can do, and this one I don't see talked about a lot, but this is my own, so I'll take credit for it. Avoid negativity and people that will, or events or activities or things that will suck and drain your energy. Because a lot of times we focus on the positive things, but the fact of the matter is, in our world, we're surrounded by negative things as well. All we have to do is turn on the news, and in 5 minutes we can go from feeling great to feeling terrible because it's one negative story after another. And then they end it off on a positive note about some bunny that takes hot tubs in a little pail on someone's porch, which is a cute little story to end it. But after they've destroyed us with negative energy and all these terrible news stories about the world falling apart, we get to a point where it's difficult to feel positive about things. So avoid negativity. If that means unplugging from your social media feed or the news stories or not listening to the radio or whatever it is that you consciously recognize pulls energy away from you. If there are people in your life that you have an option to not be engaged with, that typically when you talk to are downers or negative, all of those kinds of things sap our energy. So if we avoid that or limit or minimize that, then that's really powerful in terms of maintaining where we want to be in a positive mind frame. Seventh thing is have tasks and priorities already set. I see a lot of people talking about, prioritize in the morning and make your list. Do it the night before. When we need to wait till the morning to do it, one of the challenges is that we're already in a state where we feel like we're wasting a little bit of time. We don't really know what direction we're going in. By spending 5 minutes the night before and laying out our tasks and priorities for the next day is super powerful. We wake up already knowing what we've got to do. We wake up already knowing we can hit the ground running. It's one of the most powerful and empowering things that we could possibly do, is to just do it the night before, take those 5 extra minutes and just think it through, lay it out, so we're already set to go when the next day starts. The eighth thing is get some wins. Now, we can get easy wins here. We can accomplish some things that are easy, or we could take that 800-pound elephant that's sitting on our shoulders and we don't really want to do it, but we know we have to, and maybe knock that out while we have all that mental energy. But regardless, little wins, big wins, any wins, we'll take them all, right? Any wins that we get build momentum for the day. We've all had those days where we do something, it goes well, boom, we're on to the next thing, boom, we're on, and we're crushing it all because we got those early wins that made us feel good. Look, you already got money in the bank. Now let's keep going and let's keep the momentum rolling. So get some wins and let that build momentum for us throughout the day. A ninth thing is social interaction. One of the most important things about being a human being is that we're social beings. I happen to work in a situation where while I work with a lot of people, we're not in the same physical proximity or space. So I actually have a very solitary, profession in terms of the way that I do my thing. And one of the things that's super important is getting out in society, dealing with other people, talking with other people. I don't mean a Skype message or a WhatsApp message here and there. Actually talking with them face to face or on the phone, having actual interaction with people is super important to make us feel balanced. These don't need to be business conversations. This can be personal life. Call a friend, call a relative, like whatever it is at lunch, talk to them for 15 minutes. These are things that are super important for making us feel balanced in our lives. A 10th thing we can do is learn and grow. Any day we have an opportunity to sharpen the saw, as Stephen Covey says, right? Develop our own skills, learn, become better at what we're doing, expand our horizons. Anytime we can do that, we always feel good because that's our natural state, to always be learning, growing, evolving. And so anytime we can do that, that's super powerful and empowering as well. The 11th thing, and I alluded to this earlier, is at the end of the day, plan for tomorrow. This doesn't need to be complex. It doesn't need to be long-winded. It could be, 5 minutes of just lay out your top 5 priorities for the next day. So by the time your head hits the pillow, you already know what you've got to do for tomorrow. It's super empowering when you wake up in the morning and you already know what your direction is. You already know what you're going to accomplish for that day. It's an awesome feeling. And the 12th thing is to sleep enough. The fact is we live in a sleep-deprived society. We all have too much to do, not enough time. And oftentimes what happens is we end up letting sleep be the thing that we sort of shortcut. That's okay short term. We can do it sometimes when we're really busy. But ultimately, as adults, we need to get enough sleep for us. And so depending on what that is for you, it has to be enough that when we wake up, we feel relaxed and refreshed. So that's different for different people. Some people need a full 8 hours. Some people 7 is okay. It just depends on what you need. You need to feel that out. But in general, 7 is pretty much the minimum that as adults we need to be getting in order to recharge. Our body goes through all of these recharging things while we sleep. And in addition to that, it wakes us up with a lot more mental reserves. When we feel rested, we have a lot more ability to cope. We have a lot more ability to feel more balanced and structured. And ultimately, it's far better for our long-term health. So being able to sleep enough is super, super important. It's hard for us to do every one of these every single day, and sometimes impossible, but more is better. And the most important thing is consistency is the key. So even if we're only picking 5 of them, we need to do those 5 every single day so we develop them as habits. When we do that, we're going to wake up feeling great automatically every day, and it won't be as much of a conscious effort. So the takeaway here is if we want to start each day feeling like a rock star, then we need to actively set ourselves up for success. These 12 morning habits, if we use them consistently, will help us get out of the gate strong each day and build momentum so we start and end each day feeling great. We've all had those days where we felt awesome, and that helped us crush it all day long. Using these habits, we can start to do that every day and unlock a whole new level of achievement, happiness, and fulfillment.